Hello Murder Crew, welcome to another Pokemon Guide. Today our spotlight Pokemon is Sylveon. So who is Sylveon? Sylveon may be a combination of Sylph, a mythological creature described as invisible beings of the air, or Sylvan, a word referring to an association with woodlands or forests, where fairies are often depicted. This kind of explains why Sylveon is a fairy type, so it gets these associations with these type of creatures. And Eon, an immeasurably long period of time, possibly referring to how long evolution takes naturally, which kind of explains why Sylveon takes so long to evolve, but I'm not gonna talk about that right now. Eon is a suffix all Eevee evolutions share and was Eevee's English prototype name, which is kind of interesting. Eevee's original name was going to be Eon, which makes sense because all of the evolutions take forever to find, especially in Brick Bronze. But anyways, we're not going to get down and talk about that. So let's go talk about Sylveon stats instead. So here we are. We have Sylveon. Sylveon is a fairy type Pokemon, which we described earlier. Its abilities are Q-Charm, and the hidden ability is Pixelate. We're going to get into that in a little bit. Pixelate is a very, very good move, ability. So the tier is UU, and we have base hit points of 95, 65 base attack, 65 base defense, 110 base special attack, 130 special defense. That's really high for a stat category. 130, so that already screams that we're going to go bulky Sylveon. And we have 60 base speed. As we can see here, Sylveon isn't very weak to many things, which makes Sylveon so great. And the two things that it's weak to are not really relevant in the meta right now. We have Sylveon is weak to 2 times poison and 2 times steel. And the first steel Pokemon you probably would think off the top of your head would be Aegislash, which is Aegislash is pretty relevant in many of the PvP battles, but you aren't going to really just throw a Sylveon in front of Aegislash unless your team is getting totally swept. Sylveon will likely be thrown in front of a Dragon type Pokemon such as Dragonite. It has 0 weaknesses towards Dragon type Pokemon. It's 100% resistant and is a pretty good matchup against Dragon type Pokemon, especially if they're going to try using Dragon Tail while they have Stealth Rocks set up, and or Dragon Claw, Dragon Pulse, Outrage. If a Pokemon is using Outrage against you, just throw a Sylveon in front of it. It will stop its Outrage. Alright, so we are in Pokemon Showdown. We got Sylveon here. Let's set up with our favorite move, or item, Leftovers. I'm not sure why I'm shouting Leftovers at you, but here we are. Leftovers is going to heal 1/16 of your max hit points, and that's just going to be so huge for Sylveon, since Sylveon can take a hit. Leftovers is going to eventually be enough to offset whatever attack they're going to use against your Sylveon. So Leftovers is always a pretty good item to use. The ability, although Q-Charm is good, Pixelate is much better. Now let's read Pixelate. Pixelate is a hidden ability for Sylveon. This Pokemon's normal type moves become fairy type and have 1.3 times power. Now you might be asking, Murder, why would you ever use this ability? There isn't that many very good normal type moves. Well, Sylveon does have one, and it is known as Hyper Voice. Hyper Voice does no additional effect, but it hits adjacent foes. So it's good in double battles, but what it gets its power from is its 90 base power for Hyper Voice, but add the 1.3 times power to that, it makes Hyper Voice a very... You're not going to have to worry about Hyper Voice with Pixelate attached to it. So keep that in mind. And the second move is Psyshock. Sylveon likes to be, Pokemon like to put up special attack or special defense type Pokemon against Sylveon, since Sylveon really only knows special attacking moves, and it's really only gonna use that against other Pokemon. So Psyshock is kind of like that oh, well, they're going to put up a special defensive wall against me, but their defense is low, so let's use Psyshock against Sylveon. But I guess you can use that against Sylveon as well, since Sylveon doesn't have high defense. So I guess it's its own perfect example. So if you go for the Sylveon matchup, you know, your Sylveon versus Sylveon, you will have the upper hand with a Psyshock in your back pocket. Our third move is Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball has a 20% chance of lowering special defense by 1 stage. And Shadow Ball is good because you're going to have to go up against, let's say, Aegislash or Gengar or Chandelure. These type of Pokemon give Sylveon a little bit of a rough time, but you know, it has a really good matchup actually with Gengar and Chandelure due to its high special defense and being able to bulk up with leftovers and having a strong attack with Pixelate. You're actually going to hit them with Hyper Voice due to its changing to Fairy types. So Shadow Ball is just going to be good in this situation. And our final move for Sylveon is going to be Draining Kiss. This is Sylveon's way of getting back into the game. It has a 75%, it recovers using 75% of the damage dealt. So if you, let's say you do 100 damage, you're going to get 75 health back from that damage. That's pretty incredible. It's got 50 power, so you know you're going to get 75% of that back, and that's going to be game changing, especially with the added on leftovers. Alright, let's go over to our stats. We're actually going to change our nature to Calm. Calm is going to raise special defense, but it's going to lower attack since we aren't going to do any sort of attack moves with Sylveon. We're going to go 4 special defense. We're going to go 252. Oh, 252. 252 in hit points and 252 in defense. This will be our bulky special sweeper. It's, Sylveon's gonna be very hard to take down, and over time you're gonna wear down their opposing Pokemon with all these moves, and Sylveon will outlast. All right, that's our typical Sylveon setup. Now let's go over to my personal one, which is a Baton Pass Sylveon. It has leftovers as the item, Pixelate as ability, pretty common. Move, Baton Pass. User switches, passing the stat changes and more. So it's going to pass the Pixelate, it's going to pass the Calm Mind, which is going to raise the special attack and special defense by 1 stage. It's got Hyper Voice and Draining Kiss. So this Sylveon's pretty good. Can raise its special defense, special attack, and it has the ability to pass it along to the next Pokemon. And I absolutely love this setup. It's going to have the Calm nature, same as the original Sylveon. 252 in hit points, 252 in defense, 4 in special defense. And this Sylveon setup has been doing wonders for me. And if you ever create a Baton Pass team, don't forget to overlook Sylveon. Alright, we have our actual special of attacking Sylveon. Since it has 110 in special attack for base special attack, let's try to use that to our advantage. This time we have, for an item, we have Life Orb, which does holders' attacks do 1.3 times damage, and it loses 1/10 of its max health after each attack. Pixelate, of course. We have Shadow Ball, Draining Kiss, Hyper Voice, and we're going to have Calm Mind. So it's going to boost all those moves up. And for the stats, we're going to go 252 in defense, 252 in special attack, and the rest in special defense. Nature, Modest. So this is going to be our bulky special sweeper. You're going to do some major damage. Sylveon is going to be able to sweep and heal itself up with Draining Kiss. So if it does damage by itself from Life Orb, it will heal it back up with Draining Kiss. So this is a very stable Sylveon, and I absolutely love this setup. Might use it just for off the Baton Pass team. If it wasn't for Baton Pass, this would probably be my best setup for Sylveon. Alright guys, that is my Sylveon guide. Thank you for watching. If you have any more Pokemon that you would like to see being spotlighted in our how-to guide for Pokemon, be sure to leave in the comments. And the one with the most likes will definitely get chosen. And I've been trying to keep up with that, trying to keep that the comment factor. I've been choosing the one that's been getting the most likes and most notice and the most comments. So the one that has the most comments or likes, the one that gets asked the most, will be spotlight next episode. And if you like this episode, don't forget to hit that like button, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I can use all the help I can get. And as always, thank you for watching. Murderface signing out. Thanks, guys.